If you are new here, hello, welcome. My name's Jenny. This is a short tutorial for my crochet snake pattern. It's fairly straightforward, so it's definitely beginner friendly. You can choose to make it in a variegated yarn like I have. I've also made it in solid colours, as well as I have used it with my scraps as well. So pretty much any yarn of your choosing. I am going to be making this one in my choice of plush yarn. This is Paddy's Plush, and I use a 5mm hook for this, but you use whatever works for you. You are also going to need a pair of scissors, a darning needle, a pair of safety eyes. I am using 10mm, but that's totally up to you. You may even choose to embroider your eyes on. And you're also going to need some polyfil and a tape measure. So with that said, let's get into the tutorial. The other thing I forgot to mention that you will need is a stitch marker. Now we are beginning with a slip knot, so however you make your slip knots, you do that. We're then going to be chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now starting in the second chain from the hook, I'm going to be doing 3 single crochet, but I will be marking that first stitch with my stitch marker. So 1, 2, 3. In this end stitch, I'm going to do an increase, so that's 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And I'm then going to turn my work and work into the other side of the chain. So that, and I'm going to be crocheting over the yarn tail as well. So another 3 single crochet. That's 2, 3, and into the last stitch, I'm actually going to work 3 single crochet into that very last stitch. Again, my yarn tail's getting in the way a bit there. 1, 2, oops, 3. And that is the end of round 1. Round 2 is going to be 11 single crochet. So that's 1, mark my stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So 11 single crochet. Now round 3, we will be starting with an increase. So 2 single crochet into that first stitch. 1, 2. Pop my stitch marker back into that first stitch there. I'll now be doing 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. I'm now going to work an increase. So 2 single crochet into that one stitch, followed by 6 single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You should have 13 stitches. Round 4, we're starting with a single crochet followed by an increase. 2 stitches into the 1, 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, another increase, so 2 single crochets into the 1 stitch, and now 7 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. You can see our head shape is coming along now. Round 5 sees us begin with an increase, so 2 single crochet into that first stitch, followed by 7 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're now going to do another increase, 2 single crochet into there, and followed by 6 single crochet. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That is the end of round 5. You should be up to 17 stitches. Round 6, we will just be doing 17 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. So that's the end of round 6, and we might pop our eyes in now so as to make it a little bit easier before we do our decreases. I like to put my eyes in between rounds 4 and 5, so that's going to be around about here, and I normally do them around about 4 stitches apart. So I think we'll pop them in there, but you put them wherever you see fit. I think that looks fairly good, maybe just a little bit more. Pop my backs on. Okay, we are up to round 7. We're going to be popping in some decreases now just to finish off the shape of the snake's head. Starting with 1 single crochet, followed by 2 decreases. Now for my decreases, I don't bother with an invisible decrease. I just go into the first stitch, pull up a loop, into the second, pull up a loop, and then pull through both. That's my decrease. I now need to work another one. So in and pull up a loop, in, pull up a loop. That's 2 decreases done. Now we'll work 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, followed by 2 more lots of decreases. That's 1 and 2, followed by 5 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you should have a total of 13 stitches. We have one more round of decreases before we have our final stitch count, beginning with 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, followed by 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, another decrease, 2 single crochet, 1, 2, 1 more decrease, oops, and then finally 1 single crochet. So at the end of round 8, you should have 10 stitches. That is our final stitch count, and it is the stitch count for the remaining part of the body before we decrease for the tail. So round 9 onwards is 10 single crochet. So we'll just do that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. I'm going to take the stitch marker out now. I don't bother marking the stitches from here on in because all you are doing is just single crocheting around and around and around until you have the length of approximately 50 centimeters or about 20 inches. I am going to take some of my Polyfil and stuff the head fairly firmly. Just take this out for a moment. Now I like to pop the Polyfil in and use it to shape the head well. I mean, the increases and decreases help to shape it quite a lot, but as you can see, it is also good to just make sure that we are coming out at the sides, and I pop a little bit extra under the top of the head there too. Everybody's different, but I prefer to stuff my snakes lightly. Some people don't put any Polyfil in them at all, but I do like to have a little bit. So as I crochet the body, I will be just popping a light amount of stuffing as I go. I don't like it too firm, but I do like to have some kind of, I don't know, but I do like to have some in there. So now, as I said, the stitch counts are not important now. We have our 10 single crochet. I'm just going to continue single crocheting around and around and around until I have approximately 50 centimeters in length from the tip of the head there. So I'll pop you on a little bit of a time lapse, but you don't need to see the whole lot. I will come back when my snake is measuring approximately 50 centimeters, and then we will do the decrease for the tail. Okay, now obviously I can't get the whole snake in shot here, but I'm measuring from the tip of the head and I'm almost at 50 centimeters or 20 inches, and the tail itself is probably almost 5 centimeters long, so that is plenty long enough. Now I will reintroduce my stitch marker here once I begin the decreases. So it doesn't matter you can start this at any point. So we're just going to start here. So we're going to mark that first stitch. We'll be doing 2 single crochet, so that's 1, 2. I'm going to now do a decrease, followed by 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, a decrease, and 1 single crochet. So that's going to give us a stitch count of 8 on this round. Just continue to lightly stuff the snake. This is so soft, this yarn. It is absolutely perfect for this project. This round we're just going to be doing 8 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're popping some more decreases into this round. Start with a single crochet. 1 decrease, 1 single crochet, and we're going to do 2 decreases to finish this round. 1 and 2. It's going to leave us with 5 stitches, so you'll notice that things are getting a bit tighter, a little harder to find your stitches maybe, but of course it's going to depend on what yarn you use. Okay, we're going to do 5 single crochet on this round. 1. You don't need to use a stitch marker if you don't want to, but for the purposes of this tutorial I will. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe just a little bit more. I'm going to take this stitch marker out. Maybe just a little bit more polyfill in the end here. I'll take this out for a minute and use my hook. That's better. Okay, and now we are up to our final round. We're going to do a decrease, a single crochet. If your yarn isn't as soft as this, you might have a little bit of trouble, but just do your best. 1 more decrease, so that brings our final round down to 3 single crochet. I'm just having it, there we go. Okay, that is it. So I'm going to cut my yarn, and now I'm going to grab my darning needle and I'm just going to find these stitches as best as I can and just sort of help to close it off. So I think that's 1, 2, and 3. I might just pull that through there to knot it. And now I'm just going to weave in the end. There we go. And we are done. In we go. I find that these take me 45 minutes tops. It's a nice easy project. As I said, you can go crazy with your colours. It really is great for using up scraps. You can just change colours as you please, but it also is obviously really, really great for variegated yarn as well. So I do hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know below if you are planning on making some yourself. I think that they'd be great for markets. I have just recently popped these into the consignment store that I sell at, and they had been a request. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they go. But if you enjoyed this tutorial, I'd love it if you could let me know below, and I'd love for you to share it far and wide. But thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.